Hey everyone. Hi everybody. Summer's pretty much over, which means we're gonna start getting into the colder weather. Personally, I prefer the colder months over the warm months. It might just be because I live in Michigan where it gets cold a lot, or because I have the physique of a penguin, but I have no trouble keeping myself warm. Shorts? Really? But during the summer, this feel turns sorta bad because I really can't deal with the heat. Luckily though, normally during the summer we don't do much, so I can spend most of the summer inside instead of in a pool of my own sweat. But this summer we went to the East Coast for a week instead of doing nothing, which means I got to swim in the glorious Atlantic Ocean, which was really cool. But what wasn't cool was how something got a taste of my thumb in the Atlantic Ocean, which we'll be talking about in this video. So going to the ocean, I really didn't know what to expect. I mean, I live in Michigan, so whenever I go to a beach, it's on one of the Great Lakes. And I mean, those are basically just freshwater oceans, so I thought that the ocean would be like that, except saltwater, and if I got caught in a rip current, I would end up somewhere in Europe instead of Wisconsin. Now the beach we were going to was in Delaware, and we had other stuff to see on this trip in Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and DC. So going to the ocean meant a 3-hour detour to Delaware from Maryland, which normally would be fine, but this detour was really boring, because for the most part, Delaware really has nothing in it. And for the record, I'm a fan of states with nothing in it, but the kind of nothing in it I'm a fan of is, man, if I get mauled by something, there's no one within a 30-mile radius to come and help me. The kind of nothing in it I don't like is Ohio and Nebraska nothing in it, where somehow I've seen no buildings yet, but have seen 15 cows, which is basically Delaware. There was such little things in Delaware that I'm pretty sure they needed to give farm animals voting rights to even make it a state in the first place. Once we got to the beach though, the problem switched, where there were far too many people. Just going through Delaware was hard enough, now I have to deal with the citizens compressed into one area? That's not fun. Luckily though, everything ended up working out, and on the next day we went to the beach, and the minute I walked into the ocean, my first thought was, man, this is literally the exact same as the Great Lakes. At least that's what I first thought, but hindsight 2020, there was a decent amount of difference. Like there were pelicans here, and a lot more fish, and the shells were a lot bigger, and the water tasted much better. Once I found out about these features of the ocean, I began to like it a lot more. I mean, I didn't have my goggles, so I couldn't really see what it was like underwater, but I was having a delightful time swimming, jumping in the waves, and looking for shells. But not being able to see underwater would eventually bite me, because while whimsically searching for shells, I went underwater, and I felt something that felt like a large shell, and thought, man, that must be a huge shell. So I went underwater to grab the shell, and while grabbing it, I feel whatever I was grabbing closed down on my thumb. Whatever I was grabbing bit my thumb, and not only did it hurt a tiny amount, but it also scared the living daylights out of me. And I've been bit by many things in my day, like horseflies and boobaba. Those things are known for biting people, so it's not that surprising. I didn't even have to catch this fish or whatever it was alive to have it bite my finger so. The Great Lakes would never do this to me. The only thing that could bite me there is a northern pike or something, and that's at least an impressive fish to be bitten by. There's no way whatever bit me is that impressive, which begs the question of what bit me. And honestly, it could be a lot of things. A clam, possibly an irate crab. Heck, the shell I was grabbing could have not been a shell at all, and it might have just been the mouth of some unsuspecting fish that felt like a shell. Whatever bit me though left a little scar on my thumb, which I know for a fact isn't impressive enough to show people at school. How'd you get this scar? Bit by a clam? All I know though is that I really dislike whatever bit me, and I also dislike the state of Delaware, but I still do like the Atlantic Ocean, and would totally live by it and go back. Anyway, thanks for watching.